What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're continuing our look at the Transformers TCG by looking at a police car. More specifically, we're looking at Prowl, a card which, I'm going to be honest with you, initially not a huge fan. But the more I look at this, the more it's becoming one of those cards where I'm like, hang on a second, this could actually be quite a bit of fun. Now, it's cheap. It's a cheap card. It's only a 6 cost compared to the average cost of 8. And now the defense is right on the average of 2. The attack is right on the average of 4. In bot mode, in alt mode, it drops down to 3, which is lower than the average of 4. And the health is 9 compared to the average of 12. So, although it's a cheap card, it's kind of a quarter cheaper than the rest of the cards. And the health is a quarter cheaper than the rest of the cards, or a quarter less, I should say. And so, it's about in line. The stats are about right, maybe slightly higher than we would expect. It's fine. But then we see the skills. And this is what makes me look at Prowl and go, oh, that's really quite cool. In bot mode, when one of your cards is KO'd, you get to repair 3 damage from one of your other characters. This is awesome. There are ways we can take advantage of this. We'll look at that in a moment. If you are in alt mode here, in car mode, when you flip to this mode, each of your cars gets bold 2 until the end of your turn, meaning you get to flip 2 more battle cards when attacking. Now, with bold, it's always a little bit risky. What you can do is try and just pile on orange icons. When you attack, you flip 2 battle cards, you add up all the orange icons, add it to your attack. Bold 2 means that you get to flip another 2 orange icons, and you could even take advantage of the double orange cards. That is, for an action card, Peace Through Tyranny, you may KO one of your characters that has 6 stars or more if you do take an extra turn. But really we're playing it for the 2 orange icons. Or as an upgrade card, Improvise Shield, which gives you tough 1, but really we're playing it for the 2 orange icons. So what you could do here is flip over to Prowl, and then give all of your other cars bold 2, and really build a deck with lots of orange icons going for all-out attack. I like this, and I think it's an absolutely viable way to build a deck. But I also like the other skill, the one on bot mode. When one of your cars is KO'd, you repair 3 damage from one of your other characters. And you use this to essentially make sure that when one of your characters is KO'd, it's not all that bad. It's not the worst thing ever. So think of a card like Heroism. Heroism is an upgrade card whereby it reassigns damage from one of your characters to another. So if you've got a character that is about to be KO'd, you whack a Heroism on there, it gets KO'd, which it was probably going to anyway, so you choose what gets KO'd using Heroism, and then you get to repair 3 damage from another character that you want to stick around for a while. That sounds quite good. How about Shockwave that we looked at just yesterday? Shockwave in bot mode has got a really quite ridiculous skill. Every time your opponent scraps a card from their hand, they choose one of their characters and do 1 damage to it. Well, this is a really quite nice counter to that, because what you do is choose to put the damage on a character that's about to be KO'd, but you don't mind, and then that allows you to heal 3 damage from another one of your cars. And certainly the wording on the skill as it stands, when one of your cars is KO'd, no matter how it's KO'd. So we talked about Peace Through Tyranny a minute ago, that we were playing just for the 2 orange icons. Well, actually, what's really cool about that, if you KO one of your characters using Peace Through Tyranny, not only do you get to take an extra turn, but you get to repair 3 damage from one of your other characters. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it works out quite nicely indeed. As it stands at the moment, it's any kind of KO you like. So I do like both of the skills, but let's be clear about this. It has to be in a cars deck. The alt mode skill is all about cars. The bot mode skill is all about cars. Now, to be fair, the bot mode you can heal a non-car, but only when a car gets KO'd. This is for a cars deck. So given we're making a card deck, what partners might we want? Well, I've got a few that I like here. Autobot Mirage is a car. When this car attacks for the first time in bot mode and you flip at least 3 white icons, you can untap it. Not loving that, to be honest. That's not going to happen all that often. What I like way more, when you flip into alt mode, you may play an action card. Gives you an extra action card per turn. Action cards are good. That's what I like. The thing is, with the cost of 9, that might limit some of your other options. Bumblebee Brave Warrior's alright, it's got tough 1 in bot mode, and when you flip it to alt mode, each of your characters gets pierce until the end of the turn. It's a good little card, but what I really like about it, it's a 6 cost, and that means we could potentially be getting towards a deck with 4 characters, given that this is a 4 cost Prowl, and Bumblebee is as well. But I must confess, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Bumblebee Legendary Warrior here. Now, when you flip to alt mode, you can attack untapped characters as if they were tapped, which is really quite useful. But mainly here, I just love that when it's a last card standing, you've got +2 attack and +2 defense. And you can use Prowl here in bot mode to kind of be healing throughout the game. Try and make sure Bumblebee's as fresh as possible at the end. I also like Wheeljack. Wheeljack is a 9 cost, so again, moderately expensive. When you have a weapon in your scrap pile, it has bold 3 in bot mode. And this combos really nicely with alt mode Prowl here, because bold just adds up. So now Wheeljack's got bold 5, as long as you've got a weapon in your scrap pile, but we can get weapons in the scrap pile easy enough. And especially if you're going for an aggro deck with lots of orange icons, then you give yourself bold 5. Fair to assume that Wheeljack is going to make a little bit of hay here. Also, as a side note, Wheeljack is a specialist in alt mode, just like Prowl is. More on that in a moment. Now, one card I really like here is Cliff Jumper. Now, Cliff Jumper was a convention exclusive, meaning you can't get it in a booster pack. It's not the easiest card to get hold of right now, which is a little bit sad, to be perfectly honest. So do bear in mind that this is not the easiest card to find if you want to put it in a deck with Prowl. But it's not that expensive, being an 8 cost, cheaper than some of the others. It's got +1 attack for each car in your KO area. So you could potentially here be trying to build a deck with a bunch of cars and then bumping your attack. But honestly, what I love way more is the skill when you flip one of your other cars to bot mode, draw a card. So essentially here you can have a pretty nice draw engine with Cliff Jumper. It's not the most amazing card ever, although to be fair, the stats, it's got average cost, average health, average defense, above average attack. So the stats are quite good on Cliff Jumper. I do quite like the skills. It bums me out a little it's a convention exclusive, though Hasbro have said, Wizards of the Coast I should say, that are owned by Hasbro, have said that they are investigating ways to make this more available. Okay then, that's not too bad. Now, if you are then playing a card deck, we've got a couple of car-specific cards you may wish to use. Start Your Engines lets you flip each of your characters from bot mode to car mode, and then you untap one of your cars. That sounds quite nice. The untap is lovely, and switching them all around really does help quite a lot. The sad news is Cliff Jumper draws a card when you switch to bot mode, whereas Start Your Engines flips to car mode, grr, etc. We've also got the upgrade card Turbo Booster. When you put this on a character, untap that character, but you can only put it on cars, and it does give you an extra attack as well. Being a specialist, as we mentioned a minute ago, you do have access to multi-mission gear that lets you play an extra action. And bearing in mind, right, we've already mentioned that you get to play an extra action card with Mirage. So using Mirage and then comboing it quite nicely here with multi-mission gear. That's 3 actions in 1 turn, which is a little bit great. We've also got multi-tool, which gives you an extra attack rather than the extra defense of multi-mission gear, and when you pop it on a specialist, you get to play another upgrade, which is really quite nice. And actually, there is a car card that I forgot to mention. Team Up Tactics lets you draw 2 cards if you choose a car character. If you choose a truck, you repair 2 damage. Choose a car, you draw 2. I'm not 100% convinced I would play this in car decks, but it is there as an option. I feel I should at least mention it. And the last action card I want to mention here is Supercharge. Gives one of your characters bold free until the end of the turn. But do remember that all of your cars are getting bold 2 every time you flick Prowl into car mode. And we've got other things going on with bold here, so actually I could see us getting on board with this quite nicely. In terms of upgrades, we've got Armed Hovercraft, which gives you 1 extra attack and lets you do 1 damage to each enemy, as long as you put it onto a ranged character. And in bot mode, Prowl is a ranged character, so you're good. And then we've got Rapid Ascent. When you put it on a ranged character, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it, while you get an extra 1 defense. So again, that's something you could use for a ranged character, which Prowl is. I think there's a lot of potential with cards, and we're going to do a proper cards deck video in a bit. But today I really wanted to focus on Prowl, because it's one of these I actually really like both of the skills here. Love repairing free when you take a KO. Nobody wants to take a KO, by which I mean have one of yours KO'd. But it is much easier as a pill to swallow when you get to do a bit of healing in the meantime. And then getting bold 2 on all of your cars is great. So I think it's got to go into a cars deck. But we do have options for a whole bunch of other cars. If I were playing this, I'd want to put it with Bumblebee Legendary Warrior, because I think that's pretty good. And then I'd have 9 costs left over. Honestly, I'd be leaning towards Autobot Mirage, but I could certainly see an argument for Cliff Jumper here as well. Or maybe even Wheeljack, just so then you've got a lot of bold going on. You can see already there's options for cars. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think of Prowl. I'm kind of loving it, but that's just me. I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, because there's going to be lots more Transformers action, and I'd like it if you all joined in. And do make sure that you follow me on Twitter at the Wossy for all of my thoughts on various things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.